Hi everyone, this is Gretchen from willowseast.com, and today I wanted to show you a really quick, easy way to get an image or a drawing of who you believe your spirit guide is into your journal. I'm using the Willow's East Intuitive Journal, but you should feel free to use whichever journal you like to use. You can pick up a copy of this on Amazon.com, and I'll show you it a little bit. It has entries for every single day. It has a weekly draw, and then every week has a section for reflections and validations, and then in the back there are pages to log. Let's see here, monthly readings, and there's even a spot in the back to do a yearly reading, which I haven't even done yet. You can start this journal at any time. I think I jumped in like maybe in March and it has enough weeks and months to get through a year's worth of journal entries. But I like to really personalize my journal, and so I add a lot of like little drawings, and I add little fold outs and try to really infuse my own energy into it. So when I decided that I wanted to do an image of my spirit guide, I felt really at a loss because I'm not great at drawing people. And so I wanted to come up with a little exercise that you could do that would be easy to do a spirit guide drawing. So what I did is, if you've been following along with my spirit guide journey, I did some questions this week, and I kept getting, I've always believed my spirit guide to be a woman, but for this exercise in this week, I kept getting a soldier type energy and figure. So instead of trying to sit down and do a freehand drawing of a soldier, I actually went and found an image of a soldier that I liked. It helps if you find an image that's, let me see if I can move this closer so you can see it. It helps to find an image that's close up of the face, that's very clear. And then I downloaded the Prisma app, and I used a filter called curly hair on it, and it created this kind of drawing type look of the soldier. And that is how I did the same with the woman, and that's how I made this drawing. And I'll show you how I got from this step to this step. So essentially what I did is I used my phone here, because I'm recording with my phone, I'm using my Kindle, but I used my phone as kind of a light board to trace the image. And I'm using just a standard piece of white, printer paper, and I placed it over my Kindle, and it helps if you set the brightness setting as high as it will go. This one I actually did on my cell phone, and it worked just as well. And then you can trace it. So what will happen is, I don't know if you can tell, but you can still move the image through the paper. So you have to be careful to either like set something else down to hold the image or the paper in place if you need to. This will probably work fine. Or just be really careful to not touch the screen and move it. You can always realign it if you need to. And then I just traced with a pen. You can use a pencil if you're not feeling quite confident to use a pen. I go back and forth depending on how I feel, but I traced the image and then I added kind of my own details to it. So I'm going to do that with him. And the other thing is, you should, if you can find, use a waterproof pen. I'm using a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen. It says waterproof on it. This one's a sepia. It's like a brownish. Micron pens work great. Those are black and they have the waterproof quality. And then Sharpie pens are usually waterproof too. If you're going to paint over with watercolor, just make sure you have a waterproof pen. But you can color it in with colored pencils, of course, or crayons even. So I've definitely done that before, but she was a watercolor. So I'm just going to get this aligned and just really loosely trace his outline, trying to stay true to the lines of his face, and I really want to outline the important pieces, like his eyes. And see, I already kind of got it off alignment, but you can just kind of scoot it back into place because I keep hitting it with my pinky. So I'm gonna try to do a little better here. He has this beard and this mustache, and I did it again. So I'm just gonna scoot it back into place. Again, I want the important features. So I want the nose, I want these strong eyebrows, and this just really helped me to get an idea of exactly where these facial features should be, because I'm not great at face proportions, and I might even lift it and kind of make sure that I have the right details here. His mouth is kind of here. And then let's see here if I can get those eyes. Those are going to be the important piece, and they're going to be about, let's see here. Okay. Kind of here and here. And I just want to make sure I get those pupils kind of in the right place. But this really is just going to help me to get a sense of where everything goes. And then I'll fill in the details. And then I can use this image as reference as I fill it in. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're definitely not going for perfection. But as I go through this, I'm going to look for little things that kind of stand out about the image that I really want to pick up. I want those eyes to be nice and clear. Something that will make eyes look a lot more realistic is this little reflection here. So if when you fill in the eyes, you just leave a little white spot, it's going to look a lot more realistic. Size about, come back. And that's probably all I'll do. Oh, I kind of like that he has, you can see his shoulder here. It's a nice kind of touch. And over here it's the same, his shoulder kind of comes down like this. And that's probably all I would do for him. So I'll show you how I paint, and I'll use the kid paints because why not? And I'm not going to worry about getting the face coloring perfect or mixing paints or anything like that. I'm just going to pick maybe a little orange and yellow for his face, and I'll cut him out at the end. So I'm going to test some of these colors here on the bottom. Not sure if you can see that. Oh, you can. Great. And then I'll just fill in his face with this color. And I like to start on the part of the image where there will naturally be shadows, so the most paint will fall on your brush. So I'm going to start on the left side of his face. That's where I want his shadow to be. And then as I get further to the right, his skin will naturally be lighter because there will be less paint on the brush as I move that way. Oh, and his ear, we'll make his ear about that same color. I'm just using a mix of yellow and orange, but you can make his skin, you know, purple if you want. Do something artsy fartsy. And then I'll give him some nice just brown hair. And I might make his jacket just a color that will pop. I don't, like an orange might be nice, or a color that will pop against oranges is blue, because it's a complementary color. Oops, and see, like I went out of the lines right there, so I might just even do that. Just make it look like I intentionally went out of the lines on that side. It's not a big deal. But I find this a really nice touch to add your own drawings to your journal, because it just personalizes it that much more. Get over on his mustache. And so yeah, I think I'll use this blue. My daughter must have really liked this blue. There isn't very much left. But I really like it. I used it in hers too, a nice kind of dark bluish teal. In my other drawing, I mean. And I just love these colors that really pop against the kind of the bland colors of maybe his skin or his hair. Just gonna add water in here to make it a little bit more washy. And I'll probably leave this side kind of light and let the dark colors hang out on that left side again. If you want to get really creative, you can kind of imagine where the shadows might fall, like under his beard, and go a little darker under there. And it just adds, even if your shadows aren't in the right place, it just adds that illusion of depth to your image. It doesn't have to be perfect lighting. Maybe like under his arm would be a little darker here. So that's what I do. And I hope you liked this. It was really fun to put together. And we'll be in touch. Thanks for joining. Bye.